Hello from the One True Scale. I hope you've been enduring the pandemic well. I've been okay. I want to show you my work-in-progress Northeast Corridor layout with 1982 to present rolling stock, and talk about a wish list for filling the gaps in that era, including catenary and structures. With so many releases in the last 15 years, I don't think Northeast Corridor electric modeling is a niche market anymore. For electric catenary railroad modeling, I consider the Northeast Corridor to be Philadelphia to New York, later adding Washington, Harrisburg, New Haven, and Boston. Well, I've gotten a lot done during the pandemic so far. I started organizing my garage with 20 wire shelf racks. My longest wall shelf is 33 feet from front yard to backyard. In N scale, that's a mile. I also discovered an old trunk from my mad scientist grandfather. It contained his amazing 1930s rocket wingsuit and his tragically dangerous grow and shrink ray. I couldn't resist trying them both to tour my new layout, so here we go! Whoa, safe on the ground, a bit frazzled. Flapping wings at 100 miles an hour is for the birds. At first, I just wanted to see what an N-scale mile of Kato double track would look like. I liked it, so I added 4 turnouts and Kato's 2-island suburban station. Then 4 more turnouts with a specific prototype in mind. It's equivalent to 2 ovals, so needs block control to run more than 2 trains. I control it from the middle with 8 on-off blocks per route plus a switchyard controller. Brown is switchyard and future light rail. White is elevated and subway. 8 mainline blocks of inner and outer routes are in color. The balloon return loops are hidden but accessible. I used Kato double track R315, R282. They're smallest with bank curves, but that caused too many derails and uncouplings. So I had better luck switching to their flat single track. My layout has generic details, but it has select and compressed locations from the real Northeast Corridor. Viewers, I want you to take a quiz on 7 of these locations. The quiz is so hard that only 90% of you will get all 7 right. I put the correct answers in the comments. I picked this station because it has 2 island platforms allowing stopping and passing action. It also has one siding in each direction, not often used for passengers. So, question 1. What station is this? Now, for more fun and flexible modeling, I might want to use this station to represent other stations in other years. Viewers, here's an extra credit question that's so hard I don't even know the answer to it. Name every station in the Northeast Corridor and the Keystone Corridor that I could use this station generically for. All must have 2 or more island platforms with sidings and must not cover the trains from view when they're stopped. I think there are at least 15 stations. Please write your extra credit answers in a comment. Thank you. My prototype station had 3 different structures in 1893, 1976, and 2008. I used Kato's Japanese overhead transit station and 3 extensions. The modern parts are only vaguely similar to the 2008 prototype, but the model seems quite similar functionally. I need to kit bash an extension to cross 2 more tracks and connect to the main station though. I also used Kato's island flagstop platform and platform accessory kits. These are crisply molded in the colors you see and have lots of glue-on modern details. In 2019, all of these kits got updated to allow optional snap-in platform lighting, but there's still no updated accessory kit with waiting room, kiosk, elevator, vending machine, etc. Colorful signage decals are included in these kits, but unfortunately most have some Japanese writing. With some repainting and third-party decals, these kits could become a very nice, modern Northeast Corridor station. You can probably see that my layout is just a mock-up set on packing foam trying to level out wavy wire shelves. I decided to eliminate the 4 storage shelves above the layout so I could saw off the annoying 16 tubes that are protruding above the layout. I will make 8 2-foot by 4-foot modules out of 1/4-inch MDF, then add grass and roads and transfer the trackage and wiring. Finally, backdrop, hills, trees, structures, and catenary. I've been an N-scale electric railroading fan for 40 years, but that was mostly Penn and New Haven. I'm now drinking through a fire hose to learn post-1968 Northeast Corridor, so please pardon any errors. I'm very happy with my standing operator's eye view of the station. Most of what I have to run is post-2012, far from 1982. I can't operate trains while I'm filming, but New Jersey Transit Northeast Corridor trains stop at most stations. This is Athern's ALP 45DP push-pull train with Bombardier multi-levels. They look great, but the loco has too high a starting voltage to run with Kato stuff. Although the prototype often has 10 coaches, I can't run more than 5 without derailing on my R282 curves, which I think is due to truck-mounted couplers with long arms. The Amtrak Northeast Regional that just went by should stop at major stations like this one. It is Kato's ACS 64 and 6 Amfleet 1 coaches. This train runs fine, but any more than 6 coaches will uncouple at the loco on the R282 curves due to the high rolling resistance of the Amfleets. The ACS 64s are not very heavy and sometimes strangely manage to derail themselves. My standard of excellence loco is the Kato P42 diesel, which is rather heavy and can handle 10-car trains of any Kato coach on R282 curves with no problem at all. The all-Kato Amtrak Crescent to New Orleans is going by with a baggage, 4 Amfleet 2 coaches, and 3 Viewliner sleepers. This train won't uncouple the ACS-64, probably because the rolling resistance of 1 baggage and 3 viewliners is less than that of 2 Amfleets. The train on the far left siding is a New Jersey Transit diesel-powered push-pull. The engine is a not quite prototypical Atlas Freight Jeep 40, which looks close enough and runs great. The 4 Rapido Comet 1 or 2 coaches look terrific but run poorly. Coaches uncouple and derail easily. I could only get 4 of my 6 to run together by careful mixing and matching. There's high rolling friction and truck rotation friction. Coupler assembly tolerances are very bad. I like this view of the speedway to the east of the station, but I have to get up on a step stool to see it because my track height is about 55 inches. To save time putting away trains, I added this 4-track yard and also 2 crossover switches to get to it. My favorite detail, though, is the endless parade of catenary spans, which mark my layout as electric territory. These are Kato Japanese prototypes, which come in a pack of 10 for about $20. They snap into thin bases that snap under the Kato track. Japanese modelers ignore the wires because they would either be too thick or too delicate. Open the wingsuit again for a... Whoa! Going low! I was just in an international airport pattern. Quiz question number 2 is, which airport? Here comes an eastbound Northeast Regional. I see a third rail elevated crossing over the westbound mainline, and the whole tangle of tracks is crossing a river on a complex of truss bridges. Third rail widens to enter a small balloon loop station, while the main line gets partially hidden in another return loop. So I'll follow the now westbound Northeast Regional back through it all. Hopefully avoiding the airport pattern this time. Dang, again. I better just go real low and take my chances with the power lines. For the third rail elevated, I used Kato's newer single-track straight and curved bridges, and a 6-car train of Kato's modern Japanese Ginza line subway cars. These are quite similar to my prototype railway cars because they were both built by Kawasaki. Quiz question 3 is, what railroad is this? Now, I'm pretty sure that between the flyover and the bridge, my prototype has a major city and a giant railway station. However, this station has a roof and you can't see the trains, so I decided to compress it to 0. Quiz question 4 is, what giant station am I leaving out? For the bridge complex, I used 6 Kato girder bridges and 6 truss bridges. Although the prototype railroads probably wish it was fixed like mine, the real bridge is a complex arrangement of 3 lift bridges. I might try to kitbash the towers out of 6 more truss bridges. I will build a special lowered module for the river and the bridge supports. Quiz questions 5 and 6 are the name of the bridge and the river it crosses. Finally, that third rail line drops to the ground, tunnels under a river, and becomes a subway station in the basement of a world-famous building. Quiz question 7 is, what was that building? For my elevated, I've used almost every type of bridge Kato makes and every type of bridge support. For sturdy, snap-together trackage, Kato only makes bulky concrete bridge support. However, for many old elevated prototypes, Kato's bridges would also look great with the less bulky steel girder and pole structures found in cities like New York, Chicago, or Tokyo. With snap-in steel supports, a lot of modelers worldwide could use Kato bridges for their elevateds. Aha, my only clip of my troubled Comet push train. By the way, I do realize that using return loops makes my push-pull trains look unprototypical half the time. For me, that's an acceptable compromise compared to a complicated control system. I'm happy to just relax and do my model train spotting just like watching fish in a fishbowl.
Stop. This is boring. The same modern trains running back and forth. Run something from the last millennium.
Oh, hi, evil me. I thought you were dormant. Actually, that's pretty difficult.
Got any Phase 3?
Well, diesels and superliners, but they didn't run on the corridor. Also, Amfleet 2s, but I have only one old electric to pull them.
Bachmann E60? Never mind.
Hey, I was just a kid back then. I'm much more sophisticated now. We're running out of time, so I'm going to wrap up and cover the rest in a part 2 video. Evil Me had a good point about the lack of N-scale Northeast Corridor stuff for the 80s and 90s. In fact, the only stuff for the early 2000s was the Bachmann HHP8 Loco and a Acela EMU, which I wish I had gotten. In part 2, I'm going to discuss this wish list I made, sorted for these railway eras. It includes specific prototype details, my ratings, and which manufacturers might be interested in making the model. My goal is to get modelers to contact the manufacturers for the models they want, like I did here for Kato USA, which has a model suggestion link I will put in the comments. Also in part 2, I'll review these affordable 3D printed Penn catenary spans. I got them from Design Dine on Shapeways and put his link in the comments. I believe structures like catenary spans and steel elevated bridge supports are also good manufacturer's model suggestions. Well, class, don't forget to check the comments for the answers to the quiz questions and the extra credit questions. We at 1 Scale Laboratories really hope you enjoyed this video.